So now we're going to talk about numbers. If you do not know your numbers, you are never going to make any money. Well, you're going to make some money, but you're not going to be able to keep it and you're going to lose it. Basic accounting, basic numbers is this. Expenses. So when we're talking about expenses, we're talking about overhead, operating expenses, okay? So this is going to be rent, utilities, phones, insurance, okay? This is like your overhead and your operating expenses, payroll if you have payroll. So overhead like what I consider fixed overhead is what are the things that are going to be there every month no matter what, okay? Rent, utilities, phone, insurance. These are what I call fixed. No matter what, let's say I decide I want to go on vacation and I want to take 3 months off. Guess what? These fixed expenses are still coming out every month, right? Now we have operating expenses. This is going to be payroll. This depends too on how much business we do. So, payroll may be one. Shipping may be another one. So like my FedEx bill sometimes is like $500, $600, $700 a month, because if I'm doing a lot of business and I'm FedExing a lot of titles, then that's an operating expense, okay? So payroll, shipping, these are operating expenses. So here's the thing. We want to be able to take our expenses, our fixed and our operating. We want to know these, because here's the thing. You got to have an idea every month, what I call, what does it cost me to put my key in the door every month? This is the saying for, if I don't do anything, how much money does it cost me to turn the key and open up the door to my business every month, okay? So let's just use some easy numbers. So let's say your rent is $2,000, utilities $200, phones $200, insurance is $300, okay? So you got $2,200, $2,400, $2,700. So we're $2,700 a month before we even walk in the door, all right? So this will be, sometimes you hear it, what's your monthly nut, okay? So that's your fixed. Then you got your operating. These are going to fluctuate every month. But after you have like a 3-month average, then you can figure kind of what your average is. So you're going to take your fix plus your operating. Let's just use round numbers or even numbers, figure this out. So let's say it's $2,300 plus the $2,700. So now I have $5,000 in fixed and operating expenses. That means that I have to make $5,000 a month before I pay myself. This kind of goes back to like if you guys got a job, one of you new car store guys, and you're making $20,000 a month as an F&I guy. Well, take away your paycheck. Now you have expenses and responsibilities going out before you even get a dime. So $5,000 a month. The other reason why I like to do this too is because I like to figure how many cars am I going to sell a month. So if I'm going to do 5 cars a month, then basically I got to make $1,000 per car times 5 cars just to break even. All right. So there's a difference between, and this is what people get it confused, is every time I ask somebody, hey, how much money did you make last month? Or how much money did you average profit per car? You got to know these numbers. So we got our expenses. So we have our expenses. So we're going to keep that number here. Expenses, $5,000. All right. Now you got to figure up your profit per car. This is where, like, until you know these numbers, you're number one, you're not going to make any money. You're not going to keep any money. And how do you know what's working and what's not? How do you know what to buy and what not to buy? So if I'm just randomly buying cars and I randomly think that I'm making money on them, I could literally be not making much money or even losing money on a particular car, but in my head calculator, I think I'm making money on that car. So the more I keep repeating that, I'm actually losing money over and over and over again. Sooner or later, this is going to catch up to you. So when you purchase a car, so you got your purchase price, okay? So let's say your purchase price was $3,000 plus a buy fee, and the buy fee was $300. So we got the purchase price on the car. Then you're gonna have transportation. Let's say I bought it at an auction, it wasn't far away, but they charged me $100, and I got $100 in transportation. Now we got reconditioning. We had to do some mechanic work to it. We had to detail it. We had to put some tires on it, right? So now we got $700. So we got our purchase price, we got our transportation, we got our recon. So in breaking down the recon, let's say tires was 300, detail was 200, mechanic was 200, right? And that's going to equal our 7. This is important because this is what'll kill you is when you don't understand the reconditioning. So on the reconditioning, I got to put every expense in the car. If I clean it myself, I need to charge myself a detail, whatever the market value is in my area of what I would have to pay somebody else to do it. All right? This is for profit tracking purposes on the car because we got to know exactly what we got in this car. Like even the transport bill. Like, let's say you go pick it up yourself. You still need to charge the car something because I got time going there. I got gas going there. Let's say I had to Uber there. Regardless, figure out whatever the expense would be if you had to pay somebody to do it. I got 33, 34. I got 4,100 in this car now. So let's say I sell it for $6,500. Minus my 4,100, I've got a $2,400 profit. Here's the problem. Let's say I don't figure up these numbers and I bought the car and my hammer price was $3,000 because your hammer is going to be the price before the buy fee. Okay. So I got a hammer of 3 and I sold it for 65. In my head, I think that I made $3,500 profit. This is why you got to know your numbers. Because in my head, I'm thinking I made $3,500 when in reality, I only made $2,400. So that's $1,100 difference. And trust me, these numbers add up and add up and add up. If I'm buying cars and I don't have these numbers and I'm guessing and I'm like, let's say this price was $4,500. So I bought it for 3 was my hammer, sold it for 45. Okay. So in my head, I'm thinking I made $1,500 profit. This is where we get in the traps. So I had 100 in transport, 700 in recon. So that's 800 plus the buy fee was 300. That's 1,100. So now I take my 1,100 and now here's where I'm really at. So in your head, we paid 3, we sold it for 45. In our head, we think we made 1,500. In reality, we bought it for 3 plus and sold it for 45. We really only netted $400. So in our head, we think we made 1,500, but after running all the numbers and knowing the numbers, we only made $400. So remember, when I first started this, our overhead, $5,000 a month, all right? And let's say we're gonna base that off of 5 cars. So remember I said, if we gotta sell 5 cars a month, we gotta make $1,000 a car just to break even. So let's take 5 times 1,500 equals, what is that? 7,500, right? Yeah, 7,500. So in my head, 5 cars times 1,500 is 7,500 minus $5,000. So I think I'm making 2,500 profit. In reality, when I only made 400 a car and I sold 5 times 400 is 2,000. My expenses are 5. Now I'm minus 3,000. This is the problem, folks. How do I know this? because I ran like this for years. And I kept trying to outrun the money every month. I'm just like, man, I'm making money. Why am I not getting ahead? Why am I not building anything up? And then finally I was just like, I gotta like commit to these numbers because something isn't working. Something isn't adding up. And that's when I started getting into the very details of these numbers. That's when everything changed, because now I can see clear as day, man, I'm thinking I'm making $1,500 on this car, but I'm only making 400. And if it costs me $1,000 a car to break even, guess what? I'm losing money. So what did I do? I stopped buying these cars. And then I started looking at the cars that I was actually making $1,500 or $2,000 on. Okay. Then I looked at those cars like, okay, I'm making profit on these. I'm going to do more of these. These I'm not, and I'm going to quit doing that. Then as you can look at these numbers more and more, then you look at trends and you're like, oh, I can make a little adjustment here. Now I make a little more profit. Hey, I can do this a little better. Hey, I watched this. This cost me money on these cars. Then you start to tweak it, and like literally just knowing these numbers takes you from losing money and potentially going out of business to doubling your profit, knowing what your numbers are, and starting to build up some money, starting to build up some assets. And on top of that, you sleep so much better at night. Here's the thing. Bottom line is, you got to know your numbers.